Still don't hear the open.
Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, a healthy good morning to you here as we're coming to you live from the Peter J. Mulry Foundation annual golf tournament. There's Pete. No, you come over in a few minutes, Pete. No, 10:15, you'll be good. So we got a bunch of great folks going to be out here today. We're raising money for a great cause out here for literacy for some of our Hillsborough County students. And Peter's been a champion of so many great philanthropic projects going on since his days as the Tampa Catholic head coach for baseball, where they won a couple of state titles. So we'll have a lot of the local baseball royalty running through here. I believe Goose Gossage is going to stop by. And Clint Hurdle, we had him last year stop by talking baseball. That was so much fun. We chatted with Clint for like 25, 30 minutes last year about baseball. And with all the changes in baseball and the WBC, we'll have another great conversation with him. Coach Z is going to join us at 10:30 to break down this very improbable Final Four. And with that setup, I'll say good morning to my friend, Nick Geddes, co-host from Outsider.com, who's joining us from our St. Petersburg studio. How are you, my friend?
I'm cozy out here. How's the weather out there this morning?
It's beautiful. It's
beautiful. You already got a drink in your hand this early? Is that what I'm saying? Are you drinking live on the air?
Virgin Bloody Mary.
Virgin Bloody Mary.
Bloody Mary. So the Thea, who just made it for me, is looking at me like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. It's, for the audience, Thea, it's a Virgin Bloody Mary.
I'm not buying it for 1 second. But
I lie to you, Nick Geddes, especially about something so
absolutely you would.
May not be true.
But anyway, I'm all excited. I'm all excited though. It's
breakfast of olives soaked in virgin vodka is about as good as it gets.
Yeah, I see you got your Rays hat though. It's opening week. Week. I said I see you got your Rays hat this morning. It's opening week. This is why I'm very excited. I bought my tickets for opening day on Thursday, 2 days ago. So I'm going to be in the building, and I'm very excited.
How much did we pay for these?
We paid $70 a ticket.
That's not bad for opening day.
And I'm in section 204, which is the second level, and it's like literally just to the right of home plate.
Oh, that's a great seat.
I think it's a great seat.
No complaints on that. And we're going to get into the Lightning and their play this weekend against Boston, which I think was actually a good thing from what we saw, the way they came out, how physical they were, the way they played. I mean, there were stretches in the game that I didn't like, but there were also stretches in the game that I thought the Lightning were the better team. And when you're talking about a Boston Bruins team that's probably going to set the record for wins, break the Lightning's record for wins in a season, that's pretty good. So I was encouraged by the way the Lightning played on Saturday, but they've got to pick it up. I mean, obviously they've lost 4 in a row now, 3 in a row. Again, it's they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be that third, finish third in the division. They're going to play Toronto. They're going on the road. I think that's almost an absolute certainty at this point. So they know what they're doing. And we'll hear from Cooper here in just a little bit. I just. And as we talked about last week, Nick, it looked better against Boston, no question about that. But does this feel like a team that's steamrolling into the playoffs that are going, are one of the favorites to be the Stanley Cup champs? It's really hard to say that. It just doesn't look that way right now. But I'm encouraged by where they played on Saturday.
Yeah, it's encouraging because it's against Boston, who's been – I don't want to say they're sliding a little bit, but definitely not at the same pace maybe that they were earlier in the year. Still, obviously, they clinched the Atlantic. I think they still have a chance to become the greatest regular season team of all time. So I was encouraged by the Lightning play, a little unlucky on the first goal, but, I mean, they showed up for a big-time opponent at least. And they're going to have to do it again I believe they're getting a practice in today at the TGH Ice Complex, and they're going to get on a plane to go to Raleigh. So they're going to have to show up again for another great opponent. But to your point, does it still remind me of a team that I think is going to get in there and do something like they have the last 3 years? At the moment, no.
Well, listen, this 2-game stretch of the Blue Bloods of the NHL, teams that they could see in the playoffs, Boston and Carolina, Carolina destroyed them the last time they were up there. 6-0, I believe.
Yep.
And Lightning barely had the puck the entire game. It was probably their worst game of the year. I need to see vast improvement against that team in this game because Carolina, they went up to Boston yesterday and lost at a shootout, I believe. So, yeah, these guys are the cream of the crop, these two teams. You lost 2-1 to Boston on Saturday in a hard-fought game that I could have gone either way, clearly. And now you got Carolina on the road. Let's see if you're out of the funk a little bit and you got to score at least 2-3 goals to win that game. Carolina's not playing great. They went through a stretch, so we'll see. But I think these two games will tell us a lot about what we need to know about the Lightning moving forward. No question. All right, we got to get into a couple other things before we take a break here, and Pete's going to join us in a little bit. The Final Four, who I think it's 37 brackets out of 20 million. I can't believe there was one, to be honest with you. 37 brackets had this Final Four of Miami, San Diego State, UConn, and who am I forgetting?
FAU, right?
What's that?
You say FAU?
No, Miami, San Diego State, UConn, and
FAU.
The Beach Boys. I mean, there's got to be a lot of programs in the nation that are going, what the hell just happened this season? You know what happened? NIL happened. And I've talked about this. People say, well, NIL is just going to make the rich richer. And I'm like, I don't know about that. Because you look at Miami, who hasn't really done anything in basketball forever. This is their first Final Four. They have obviously a great NIL program right now for football and obviously basketball. And they've got really, really good players. And I think that's a direct result of their NIL. And I think, in anything that levels the playing field in college basketball or college football, I'm for it. And, it just takes one rich dude at one of these universities just say, you know what, I'm going to fund this. We're going to pay the players better than any other team in America. And, North Carolina, Duke, the blue bloods of college basketball, they've always had a recruiting advantage, just like Alabama, Georgia has in football. They have, and they're always going to have, because of the money that comes into that program because they win. Now, being able to pay the players in this way levels the playing field. So, you get one rich guy in Miami who wants to shell out for basketball or whatever. And this is the result. You can buy up the best player. The players now, before it was all about, can we go to, they've got the best facilities. They've got the best tradition. That's never going to change. And other programs really can't develop that overnight. But here we go with, hey, if you're going to pay me more, I'll come to Miami. I'll come to San Diego State. I'll come to you, wherever you need to go. People will go.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that's part of it as well, but I think with college basketball, it's just the excitement of March, and it's just the unpredictability of it, honestly. And it seems like last year was we had the blue bloods, right, that were all in. And this year it's been a complete just opposite of that. But to your point, though, I mean, I'll give respect, though, to like Jim Larinaga, who is coaching Miami. I mean, he took George Mason. He's been coaching for a long time. He's a Hall of Fame type coach. He took George Mason to the Final Four. Go look at Miami since he's taken over. There's not really many bad seasons mixed in there. I think there's 3 Elite Eights and now a Final Four. So that guy can coach. They have talent.
Oh, no question.
San Diego State, same thing with Brian Dutcher. I mean, they've been good for a little bit now. And all you have to do, you just need things to go your way when the way these brackets are laid out. And San Diego State, I think they faced the higher seed in like every game except the Alabama one. So obviously it went their way in the bracket. FAU is probably the outlier here completely because this is a team that has no track record of success. They would be the highest seed, I believe, to win the tournament if they could pull this off. But Dusty May, he started out, I found this out this morning, he was a ball boy at Indiana under Bob Knight. A ball boy at Indiana under Bob Knight. Like, this guy came up like completely from the bottom to becoming an assistant under Mike White at Florida, by the way. And Florida fans are not happy. They are not happy that this guy was on their campus for 4 years while they were calling for Mike White's head. And this guy goes down the road to FAU. and takes this team to the Final Four. So Florida fans are not happy about it. I think Dusty May, to me, and FAU is the story of the tournament right now.
Right. Yeah, and where is he going? That's the bigger story right now. Maybe he's going back to Florida. Who knows? But I don't think that's happening. I think FSU might be a better situation, frankly, and with Leonard Hamilton. And by the way, Leonard Hamilton has shown no signs whatsoever that he wants to retire or go anywhere. So we asked David Zimmerman that question, I think, last week. Z's going to join us at 10:30, so we'll see what he has to say. But I don't know. We'll see. I think that, what other openings are out there?
A lot of them are getting filled up right now. A lot of them are getting filled. I mean, the Texas one looks like they're going to give it to his name's escaping me right now. Holy mackerel!
Their coach Perry, right?
Yeah, Rodney Terry. There you go. Yeah, Rodney Terry. Looked like they're going to give him the job, which they should, by the way.
Yeah,
he's earned
100%.
that. I mean, taking over for Chris Beard. So Texas is off the table. At the top of my head right now, I don't think of a big program that's really available. I mean, has Louisville filled their position yet? I'm not even sure.
I'm not sure if they have. Yeah, it would probably have to be something that develops, and maybe that could happen at Florida State. I don't know. And again, nobody wants to push Leonard Hamilton out the door. Nobody wants to do that. That's not, nor should it be a thing. He deserves to, what he's done, call his shots and do what he wants to do. So but he may, if the administration comes to him and says, hey, maybe it's time, we can bring in a guy in Dusty May who clearly can, pick up and further your legacy of Florida State basketball. Maybe that's something he wants to do. Maybe it's not, but it should be totally up to him, and he should be able to call that shot whenever he wants to. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, let's take a quick break. Our first break. Pete's going to join us here. Coach Pete's going to join us. We'll talk some baseball, some local baseball. We'll talk about what's going on with this tournament and some Rays as well. With opening day coming up, we already got some folks in the comment section giving you props for your first opening day. Is this going to be your first opening day? No, you've been before.
Oh, no. I go to every opening day. Tradition. Tradition.
For who is it? Logan. Logan, I think, is going to his first opening day. So there you go. Right, quick break. Back here to the Carrollwood Country Club. It's the Peter J. Mulry annual golf tournament for the Mulry Foundation. We'll talk with the man when we come back. Stay with us.
Guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We are here for the annual Peter J. Mowry golf outing and the foundation. And the man joins us right now, former Tampa Catholic coach, two-time state champion. How you doing, Coach?
Oh, I'm doing great. What a morning.
It's beautiful. Absolutely good. It's about, low 80s here?
Oh, yeah, a little breeze. We're golden.
I think my son is up in Chicago fighting 30 degrees in snow today, the poor soul.
Well, every day I get up, I look at Rutherford, New Jersey, where I grew up, and think, oh, my God, I'm in Tampa, yay.
It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing, brother.
You got a great setup here. We're going to have, 150 golfers out here today?
We got a full house. We're going to have 164 golfers. We're going to have 20-plus volunteers. And then tonight, for the appreciation dinner, another 40 or 50 are coming.
That's awesome.
So we're just like, yay.
Well, we're raising money for your literacy foundation. You got a group of 11 books now that you've written.
I have.
Tell us a little bit about the series and what we're doing with the money we raise here.
Yeah, and what we did was we took a character and put him on each baseball position, and for that character, we added a life skill, and that's what the book was about. For example, we did Pedro the pitcher. And the story about him is accountability, being able, what is that life skill? How does it help Pedro? Because what we're trying to do with the 11 book series is to take a life skill every month with kids and get them to put it in their toolbox. So,
awesome.
Yeah. And, we say kindergarten through fourth grade, but you and I could go anywhere with the 11 life skills,
right.
Honesty, friendship, correct choices. Hell, we all need to do those.
Exactly.
So, and so what we're trying to do today benefits, buying of books, because all our books out there that we give to students, it's free to them. And what we try to do is we'll take a life skill every month for 7 months and then give the remaining 4 to the parents to do a summer program with their children.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
And these are, we were talking about this a little bit last week, is the world is so different, because of the iPhones. Kids today have a lot of different things that they can do that's taking up their time. And the teaching of these life skills kind of gets, put to the back burner. And I think this definitely gives an opportunity for these kids to really focus on this stuff in a fun way. And if they're baseball players or athletes in any way, they can really connect with the series.
JP, you're right on the money. It's funny. A lot of the old guys that played for me, and I do mean old guys, come out. And one of the things they constantly tell me is that, we won a lot of those championships. But as they got older, they realized it wasn't about the championships. It's what they learned.
Right.
That those life skills help them.
Yeah.
And, and that's why when I talked to them, I got involved in writing the kids' books. Because it was really about, doing something that could really help a kid. Somebody said at my condo the other, well, Mowry, how do you know you're doing anything? Well, I don't. However, I know if I do nothing, nothing will get returned.
Yeah, absolutely. And so any these kids today, when they get these books in their hands, and you can see that they're making a difference. You get that feedback.
Well,
from
let me tell you a story, and this is just kind of cool. One of our Title I schools, and we're mostly in Title I school,
right?
And so I go there to meet our liaison at Lockhart up on 22nd Avenue. I think the school's at. She said Thursday and Tuesday they're looking for the mentors.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times these kids haven't been cared about or loved. So she said the one gentleman, a young man, I think his name was Jason, and he watched his mother be killed in her own kitchen at 4 years old. And she said, we got him. He never smiled. And now Mr. Chris, one of our mentors, goes in there and he's like,
lighten up.
Lights on. Mr. Chris does this. And he said, Mr. Chris was a little concerned about me the other day. I said, really? he said, yeah, I punched a boy in the lunch line, and he said, you aren't doing your accountability. You're not supposed to do that.
Right.
And he said, I realized I shouldn't have punched that boy. Yeah. So, people say, well, has this improved? And then you can almost see the eye test with these young people.
Absolutely.
They're gaining confidence. They're gaining some of these life skills. And it's such a pleasure to us to see that.
Okay. Yeah, it's, and the mentor program is part of what we're raising money for here today as well. It's not just the literacy program, but the mentors as well that go into the schools that make a difference. So, all right, let's talk a little baseball. I know you're a huge baseball fan.
I am.
What is you've seen the pitch clock? You've seen it in 20 seconds to get the pitch in. You've watched some games now in spring training. I talked to Luis Alicea the other day, great Florida State, 13 years in the big leagues. Johnny Damon, we did an event last week, and they're not big fans of the pitch clock. The players are not big. I know, shocking development, especially hitters, right?
Well, you have been around more premium athletes than I have. But here's the thing. These guys that are pitching in the major leagues, don't tell me they throw a pitch and they don't know what the next one's coming. Of course. So, nobody likes change, but the ability it gives them. I always thought when there's a change in a rule, there's more focus by the player.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. He's got to get the ball back and think about it and let's go.
Yeah. I could see, and maybe it's just because it's spring training, but to me, the batters are more aggressive. The pitchers are more aggressive because there's less overthinking going on.
I think
just
so,
like
too.
See ball, hit ball, right?
Absolutely.
There's less thinking going on, and I think that's going to help players. I think it's going to help the game. I think we're going to get more action. It's just going to create an atmosphere of action instead of inaction,
Absolutely.
Which is what I think baseball
Absolutely.
has sadly become.
Well, I went to see the Phillies and the Blue Jays over in Clearwater,
right.
And it was like a 5-3 game, 2 hours and 45 minutes.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Like, I tell people, that's so enjoyable. Who wants to watch a 4-hour ballet?
Yeah, and a 2-1 game.
No.
Guys,
so, and my thing is, I like the quickness. I like the rule where you can only put 2 guys on either side of second base. I think that's cool.
Yep.
I think you're going to see left-handed hitters, especially that hit 240, like Choi,
right.
Hit 275. Yeah. Some of those balls are going to go through that were caught last year.
A lot of them. Yeah.
And I always coach. I like movement. I like speed.
Right.
So, maybe the bases are a little closer. So we run a little more. So we hit and run a little more. We first and third. We take the extra base.
That's what we want.
That's exciting to me.
That's what we want. That's what we want out of baseball.
Like, do we want to slow down a lightning game? No.
Let's go. No,
So
I'm with you on that for sure. Do you have any thoughts on your Rays here locally?
You know what?
No, I was just listening to him talk about the the rule changes there, and he said, "Who wants to watch a game for 4 hours?" And I'm the guy that came here last week and was saying how great it was to watch those 4-hour games. Like, I guess for the WBC, yeah.
I think he's talking about the WBC, and some of those games were 4 hours long. Well, that was different because the stadiums were packed. It was like a World Series atmosphere. And I think it was Johnny Damon or Luis last week, and we talked about this, said maybe they should suspend the pitch clock for the postseason when things get more dramatic. Because there are different postseason rules for hockey, right? We don't have shootouts.
But JP, then again, these guys take all season long to get into this thing and to change it again.
Well, I think they'll stay in the rhythm myself.
I think we lost JP there. He's frozen on my end. I don't know if anybody in the comments wants to verify that for me, if he's frozen here. Yeah, I think he's frozen. So we'll take a quick break here and see if we can get him back. I know he was having a little bit of some connection issues earlier, so I'll get with him and see if we can get him back. We'll take a little break though and come back and try to continue this conversation for y'all. Stand by.
JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Gold and Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Gold and Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some 3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by. Never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. 2929 or go to Jeeves Law Group.
Let's go.
I got
Back to the
see
show
on right
with
now until about
JP on
10:45,
Mainstream
and
Sports.
after that I'll be open. After 10:45. Cool. Oh, cool. Awesome.
JP, you hear us?
Too late. I got you now. Table right now.
Yeah, we're here. We're good. We're back live now.
All right, we got
JP.
Z on.
Yeah, we got Z.
Beautiful. Some internet issues, some power issues, such as the life and the world we live in these days. Is Z on with us?
Yep. Yeah, he's on here with us.
I'm here.
Oh, I can't hear you. All right. What's up, Z? How you doing, buddy?
Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yeah, I
me,
got him.
JP?
I got you, Coach. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Can he hear?
Doing great. Can't wait to get started.
Some audio issue.
Got a bad connection.
Get all these audio. We'll get it straightened out. Stay with us.
Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive.
I can barely hear him.
And the support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation. Home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the businesses. 877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595 or go to scott@amstampa.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Golden Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're going to see if JP can get back on here online with us, trying some new things out. But in the meantime, we still do have David Zimroth, Coach Z. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great.
Yeah, so we obviously March Madness going on. We got a Final Four finally. It's been a fantastic tournament. And this has been different, obviously, because last year we had, the Kansases of the world, the Villanovas, all the blue bloods, right? And this year you look up and a lot of people have been making jokes. It looks like an NIT tournament, which I think is a little bit too harsh because I think it shows the greatness of this tournament. Do you think this is a good thing for college basketball to have some of these mid-majors here in a Final Four?
First of all, it's a sign of the times due to the fact that there's now name, image, and likeness and the transfer portal. So I think anybody discrediting these four teams is really not understanding of the greatness of college basketball and this particular time of year. When you look at what's going on, everybody wants a Cinderella. So you have FAU in there, and I don't understand how that story isn't being more nationally discussed, because what they've done is unheard of. Limited resources, lack of conference, visibility, you name it. Started playing basketball in 1988. They're in the Final Four, and it's no fluke. I saw them play earlier in the year. I told my friend Brian Yankelevich, this team is really, really good. They're going to be, a group to be reckoned with. You look at San Diego State. San Diego State's been a good basketball school, a very good basketball school and program for years. Okay? They've turned out pros. They've gone far in the tournament. No surprise on my end at all that San Diego State's in the Final Four. They could have been in the Final Four a couple other times. UM's got the most explosive offensive team in the country. I said it when we went over all the teams, Selection Sunday. They put five. They're the only team that has five guys who can all break you down, score at any time. They're good defensively when they need to be. And at the end of the game, they're ridiculous on the offensive end because you can't guard them man to man. They're going to get past you and make plays. And then lastly, UConn is a blue blood. They've won 3 or 4 national championships. They've got coaches in the Hall of Fame, players that have played in the pros. So anybody comparing this to the NIT, I think it also belittles the NIT because that was the original national tournament. So I think it's a great Final Four. I don't know if the ticket brokers are happy, but for a basketball fan, it's a great Final Four.
I can tell you this because I work with On3 Sports, and it was like a nightmare when this happened because, there's like fan sites and things like that. And we don't have one for, San Diego State. Don't have one for FAU and like all these other schools. So it's kind of been a nightmare, I would imagine, for a lot of these media companies. And like you said, definitely the television networks. But from an excitement standpoint, it's been amazing. FAU, I think, is the story of this whole thing. You were mentioning NIL, and I know that plays a part as well, but how much do you think Dusty May and what he's able to establish there really quickly has also helped them get here?
Well, out of all 3 schools, he probably, if they have one, he's probably got the least amount of money to work with, that's for sure. I think what he's done is a great job of evaluating, a great job of keeping his roster intact, and great job of absolutely developing those kids. And he'll probably have a difficult time, hopefully not, if he's going to stay there, a difficult time of keeping some of those kids. So that's another thing you got to worry about. But that's why his story and what they've done there is incredible. I'll tell you this, not that I need to bring myself into this conversation. I interviewed for that job and got pretty deep into the process in 1995. At that time, they'd been playing basketball about 7 or 8 years. And to see what's happening now, almost 30 years later, it's really, really fun to see. And, it blows my mind. And if you're a fan of basketball in the state of Florida and you look at, we have 2 schools from the state of Florida in the Final Four. We've only had, 3 schools in the Final Four for the last, 50, 75 years. Florida State, Jacksonville, UF. So now you have, 2 schools in 1 year. The story, it needs to be a bigger story statewide for sure.
Yeah, and how would you kind of handicap this matchup here against San Diego State, which a lot of people said they've been very impressed by their defense. You watch what they did to Alabama. They made Brandon Miller, one of the best players in the country, a total non-factor for most of that game. So how do you handicap this one for us, San Diego State and FAU?
Well, I think when you look at those 2 teams, it's a great matchup. Number one, FAU plays with absolutely no fear. So it doesn't matter who they're playing. They find ways to do the things that they're really good at. And they've played against other good defensive teams. San Diego State is a veteran team. They've been in the tournament. They know what they have to do to win. They're both playing, very loosely. Whether they all expected to be there, whether everybody else expected, these 2 teams are playing, in a way that they're very loose. They're very fluid, and they can adapt to any style of play that the game, becomes. So I think it's a pick'em. In all sincerity, I think it's a pick'em. I think FAU, when you look at the teams they beat and the way then San Diego State plays, the game could go either way. Personally, I really like Brian Dutcher. I knew him years ago when he was an assistant at Michigan. So I have the utmost respect for him. But I'm hoping FAU plays in the national championship game because I'm about really special situations and things that take place in our state. And if they can play for the national championship, I just think it could become the greatest story ever told in basketball.
Yeah, I think, Loyola Chicago is a school that had one of those stories. I think they got to the Final Four a few years back. We saw George Mason do it, probably about 15 years ago, I want to say it was, when he got there with George Mason. But this FAU team, and this is for it just feels a little different. Like there's a special quality to it. And the fact that they went and they beat Tennessee, they went and they beat Kansas State. Like you said, they are a team that has no fear. And I think if you have no rooting interest in this tournament, I would latch on to FAU like I have done right now. But go ahead.
Well, you mentioned Loyola Chicago. Most fans in this day and age don't realize Loyola Chicago won a national championship in 1963. Mm-hmm. So they've got a pretty rich basketball tradition. Okay, they just aren't a nationally known name, but you win a national championship at any time, you're a pretty good basketball school. George Mason, when Coach Larry Nager brought them to the Final Four back 17 years ago, I think. George Mason's always been known as a basketball school, and he had already been there a good, 7, 8, 9 years at that time. Plus the location of the school, it's in the middle of a basketball-rich, environment. There's players all over the place up there. So, and the resources those two schools have, Chicago's a basketball hotbed, DC area, Baltimore's a basketball hotbed. When you look at FAU, I don't think anybody in this country would look at Boca Raton as a basketball hotbed. No. All of a sudden, Boca Raton is become, the number one thing trending. So, I think it just makes it very much more special the way they've done it with their history.
And to the other matchup, obviously we get UConn and Miami, and UConn's a team that started off the season. They looked like the best team in the nation when they first came out, and then they went through a little bit of a skid there. And right now, you saw what they did to Gonzaga. Complete domination. It seemed like when Timmy got that fourth foul and there was like 17 minutes remaining, I believe, that just took the entire air out of the building for Gonzaga. They just weren't able to get it back. But just speak to what UConn has been able to do this year. And do you think right now they're probably the best team standing on paper?
I think the best team standing right now is Miami. That doesn't mean UConn isn't at the same level. There's a few things that have taken place at UConn. Number one, I think the hiring of Danny Hurley was, incredibly important because of how he's built other programs. Secondly, them getting out of the American Athletic Conference is the reason that they are in the Final Four. Okay, they went back to where they became a nationally known, product in the Big East, and it's helped their program immensely in recruiting. Okay. Lastly, they're loaded. They've got strong interior presence. They've got really good perimeter players. They can beat you up inside. They've got guys that can make shots from all over the court. They're playing really, really well right now. None of their games have been tight. So it'd be interesting to see if the game becomes a one basket game, a one possession game, how they'll respond, because they have yet to be in a game like that in this tournament where Miami, you look at Miami, they had to come back in the last 4 minutes to beat Drake. I think whatever they were down 7, 8 points, they outscored them 16-0 to end the game. Then last night they're down 10 points with, I think, 8:55 left in the game, and they go and outscore 28-11. 28-11 they outscored, their opponents. So I just think Miami, in my opinion, is in better shape to win this game because they've been able to win tight games, especially in the last 4 or 5 minutes.
And how much do you think coaching plays a role in that? Like, is there a lot to be said about the experience of Larinaga, the fact that he's been coaching for 40 some odd years, he's been to a Final Four, and that he's been at Miami for the past, 10, 12 years and has really had them rolling. Does that coaching experience really come to play in games like this, do you think?
Look, he's a phenomenal coach, okay? The guy, everywhere he's been, he's won and won at a high level. Pretty sure he started his head coaching career at Bowling Green, George Mason. He's coached on every level, was a very, very nationally known, prominent name as an assistant coach when he was at Virginia in the Ralph Sampson area. The guy knows how to run a program. He obviously knows how to coach. And I think his number one trait right now is how he lets these kids play. He's not holding anybody back. He doesn't have issues with guys taking threes in transitions. or over dribbling and making plays at the end, and it's really benefited their team. So I think he's one of the best in the business, regardless of age.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that. So as we get here closer to Saturday, we guys still got some time to see which way we're going to be leaning. But as of right now, are you on the side of the all Florida battle, FAU Miami? Is that what you would think right now is going to be our national championship by the time we get to next Monday?
If that happens, if that could ever happen, where two Florida teams are playing for the Division I men's national basketball title, I'll lose my mind. That would be the story of all time.
Yeah.
The story of all time. People kid counting out Miami. I don't know. I don't understand. First of all, I don't know. Miami should have been seeded higher. Miami won the ACC. They've got really, really talented offensive players, which in this tournament is probably the best asset you can have. Okay. I would switch up defenses, though, on Miami. To play them man-to-man all game long, I just think you're asking for trouble at the end of the game, because they just put the ball in Wong's hands, and he's going to beat you and make plays. But an all-Florida final would be incredible, really incredible.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dee, for joining us here and breaking down what we saw and what we're going to see here in the Final Four. It's going to be fantastic. You enjoyed, and we'll get to probably talk to you next week.
Hey, I got to throw out a little shout out here to my guy down at IMG, Jimmy Carr. Jimmy worked with us at South Florida for a little while our first year. He was just named National High School Coach of the Year. We're still trying to find out what publication that is, but in all sincerity, very happy for my guy Jimmy Carr down there, long time Division I assistant, and now doing great things down at IMG. So it's been a great year for basketball in Florida. We've had a lot of teams. Nova Southeastern won the National Division II championship the other day.
Yep.
So fun times in the Sunshine State, that's for sure.
Absolutely. I love seeing basketball get covered more. Thank you so much, Z. We'll talk to you next week.
You got it. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, we'll take a break here and see if we can get JP back. I believe he's standing there on hold, so we'll come back here and see if he's all good to go. Stay with us. A lot more to come here in our second hour here at the JP Peterson Show. Stay with us.
Here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Personal attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to jeeveslawgroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to jeeveslawgroup.com. Hey guys, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Gold and Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aqua Marine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Ladies and gentlemen, are you looking to lose weight or just lean up for bathing suit season where there are so many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there? You don't know where to start, right? We'll start at Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and will help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently. Many of these other approaches are designed for the masses. So how's that going to work for you specifically? It's not. Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you so the weight comes off safely without the use of harmful drugs and side effects. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation. Home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're here live at the Peter J. Mulry Foundation Golf Tournament. Our annual golf tournament here. We got about 150 golfers coming out. We got, I guess I'm playing with Goose Gossage today, Nick Guinness. I just found that out, so that's pretty cool, right?
Are you going to be a better golfer than him is going to be the big question here.
That's probably a big fat no.
Just make sure you get your warm-ups in, by the way. Make sure you get your warm-ups in.
We're playing on the same team, so like if I got a putt or something that's reasonably close or something, or if I miss a crucial shot, is he going to give me like the Goose Gossage there? That could be very intimidating.
That's intimidating.
I don't know if I can handle all that. That's a little much for me and as a recreational golfer, but we'll see.
I just hope y'all do a lot better than we did when we were out at the Copperhead together. We got smoked. We got smoked by Evan Klosky and I can't even remember his name now. Who had the
Jack Nicklaus, I believe it was.
Yeah, Jack Nicklaus with the 13 handicap or whatever.
God, that guy was good.
So I hope you'll have better luck than we did.
I thought we were getting played or some jackass or something was going on. Because that guy was I'm a 13 handicap. He made like 7 birdies at the Copperhead in the first 9 holes or something. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
We weren't even betting him either.
Literally, like they probably would have won the entire thing if we were really keeping score and everything officially. Like, it is what it is.
Crazy. All right, so we got some breaking news, correct? Lamar Jackson is demanding a trade now.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson just went on Twitter and put a little thread out here, and he says that he has requested a trade from the Baltimore Ravens, which they have not honored. And the ironic part here, he put this tweet out while John Harbaugh was speaking with the media at these owners' meetings. While John Harbaugh was talking, and he was actually asked about, do you think Lamar is going to be your quarterback come week 1? And John Harbaugh said, yes, I do. To which Lamar responded by putting out the tweet that he's requested a trade.
Wow, this thing has gone so sideways now. And I think the Ravens all along they've said this, and I believe them that they want to keep Lamar Jackson, but at the same time, they don't want to cripple their ability to go out and get other players. with the salary cap going up, I understand that clearly Lamar wants to get paid, but I think he's so locked in and zeroed in on this Deshaun Watson contract and getting that next deal. And I think for the most part, when you talk to NFL executives around the league, they universally say, look, that contract is an outlier. We're not, agents are trying to use it as, a precedent that has been set, but it's an outlier. And it was a special circumstance. And obviously we all know what happened there with Deshaun Watson. So, obviously the huge part of this is him not having an agent that could sit down and explain to him, look, even though that contract exists, it's not really what we would normally say is a precedent setting contract. And maybe Lamar doesn't believe that or doesn't really feel like, and also having an agent would have allowed him to realize that the market out there is not going to bear a $250, $300 million guaranteed contract to a guy that hasn't been able to finish the last 2 seasons and plays the way that he plays. I mean, these are just realities that I think Lamar has to come to grips with. And, look, any team in the league right now could trade for him. It's been this way since he got franchise tag, and nobody's stepping up to do it. So why does he, requesting a trade, how does that really change the game? Now, I know it's 2 first-round picks, but those things can be negotiated anyway, even on the franchise tag. So I'm not exactly sure what he's accomplishing with this tweet. I don't get it. There's just no market for him at a $250, $300 million guarantee.
Yeah, and by the way, for clarity, he requested this on March 2nd. He put that out there, that this was March 2nd that he officially requested this trade. He said the Ravens have not been interested in meeting his value. Any and everyone that's met me or around me knows that I love the game of football. My dream is to help the team, etc. So, but to your point, there hasn't been a single team step up and be willing to pay this price. Not a single team. And, you hear all these rumblings about the Colts being one of these teams to kind of watch out for. But that was like for after the draft. Like if they don't get one of the quarterbacks they want, then they would just make the deal to trade for Lamar Jackson. But that's obviously, a month away from now.
Right.
But besides Indianapolis, there hasn't been a single team. In fact, we saw the opposite, which I thought was bizarre, where you have 6 teams publicly come out and say, yeah, we're not interested in Lamar Jackson. We're not interested in the former MVP. We don't want him. Even though these teams that we're talking about here are the teams who got no quarterbacks. It's still bizarre, whatever way you look at it.
Well, I think it's not that he's a contract guarantee. I don't understand how Lamar doesn't understand that paying him $45 million a year, where the team cannot get out of that contract for 5-6 years, and guaranteeing that money. If he has another debilitating injury, you can't field a team, a competitive team, when you're paying one guy that much money, and especially since you have to build your entire offense around his skills, which are considerable. I get it, but there's nobody who is Lamar. It's like his uniqueness is working against him here. Like if you could plug and play other guys in the system, and if he gets hurt, we can go with this guy, and it's a reasonable price. That's what most teams have. They have a backup quarterback that is kind of the same style that could do it. Even Baltimore has that with Huntley, but you can see, what are they, 2-8 without Lamar starting? Even Huntley can't run that the way he runs that offense. So it's kind of it's really his uniqueness and his ridiculous ability to play the quarterback position the way he plays it. It's hard for people to change their whole offense and organization and say, okay, we're going to bring in Lamar Jackson now. What happens if he gets hurt? Well, we got this. There's nobody else that can do what he does. So it's a special situation, and I think what Lamar needs to do is say, look, 3 years guaranteed is good. 35, 40, because I think the annual number will be the same. It's the guaranteed money that teams are scared of, because if he does get hurt or can't play, you're dead in the water. And that's happening far too often. I mean, it's happened the last 2 years. Who's going to sign up for that?
Yeah, I guess he picked the worst time to get injured, but I don't hold it against him as much because, and you can use this against Lamar Jackson if you want to, but I will always think that he intentionally sat out games at the end of the year last year, not to get hurt. I honestly will believe that.
Well, I don't intentional, but
And you can look at
I
that
don't know
as
if
a good thing
intentional
or
is the
bad.
right word.
Yeah, maybe not intentional, but I think that played a big part in him not maybe rushing
Oh,
to come back, even though his team was in a playoff hunt. Which I'm saying you can use that as an X against him maybe if you want to, but I think that's more of what happened last year, more so than there was no way he could get back on the field because he was hurt.
right. No, I agree. I think if he had a guaranteed contract for the next 4 or 5 years, I think he would have been playing. No question about it. But it would have been dumb for him to play. And listen, Baltimore definitely carries some responsibility for not getting him to a guaranteed contract. But again, if his demands are just so out of whack, they're not in line with the market, which clearly they're not, because if his demands were within the market, somebody would have come to get him on this franchise tag, and nobody has. And it's not collusion, folks. What I just mentioned are solid reasons why no team, including the Buccaneers, should entertain that type of guaranteed money for a guy that has been hurt the last couple of seasons and plays a style that is going to lend to injuries. It's just not smart. It's not that people don't like Lamar or he's black or whatever you want to say. It's none of that stuff. They're not colluding. This is a lot of teams coming to the same conclusion that's as obvious to everyone. It's that the situation does not merit $250-300 million of guaranteed money.
Yeah,
It's
also too going against them, unfortunately, is the Kyler Murray contract because I think we would both agree that contract is horrendous. I don't even think
horrendous.
Arizona would love to redo that one like tomorrow or yesterday. But he gets hurt. Kyler Murray gets hurt doing what? Moving out of the pocket, right? Tears his ACL. So now Kyler Murray is going to have major knee surgery. We'll see what he looks like when we get to August, right? But now you're stuck with him for $250 million for the next 5 years. Like that to me, it's like the timing of all these things that have happened leading up to him, these contract negotiations. I think he's honestly been dealt a terrible hand. Like all the negotiating power that he had, it kind of just went out the window. And the fact that he doesn't have the agent, I say negotiating power, his mom's negotiating for him. And we've been over this. Like you're never going to get the best interest of the team, the agent, and the player all in one when your mom is the one negotiating for you. Just not going to happen.
Mario Christian says Jackson's goal, in my opinion, isn't to help the team win. It seems now that, and I always thought that Lamar was the ultimate team player. I mean, it really did, and I always felt like that, as a leader. But I think there's probably a lot of guys in his head that are like, "Hey, man, hold out for the money. You can do this. You're a star. You're an MVP." But that's not their money. It's his money. And he's going to lose the opportunity to play football and make a lot of money if he continues to stick by a number or a circumstance that is a line in the sand. I mean, yes, did Deshaun Watson do that and get the money? Yes, but that was a stupid organization in Cleveland. Let's be honest. Not every organization is that dumb. And it was just a different, unique situation. I think Lamar should take the 150, 160 million guaranteed that's been offered him and go play football. And it's a lot of money, man. It's a lot of money. And if you don't get hurt and you continue to play an MVP level, you're going to get another extension.
And I feel like I want to say on Twitter, and he's been very active on Twitter lately, about 2 weeks ago, he put out something about people saying that, he needs to get an agent, and he put out there that the Ravens offered him 133 over 3 years. And I'm looking at that contract, and I have to go a little bit, and I'm in Lamar's side. I want the guy to get paid, and I put my reasons out there. But given everything that's going on, if someone offers you $133 million over 3 years, I mean, how much better are you going to get? If they're not going to give you the exact offer of the Deshaun Watson one, I think 3 years, $133 million, you could do a lot worse than that.
Yeah, of course you can.
And it doesn't sound like he was interested in that one.
Mario Christian says on our chat here, the Jets better use this leverage against the Packers, forcing them to trade Rodgers. I do think the Jets are sitting there looking at the Packers going, look, we're not going to give you whatever they want. I don't know if it's been made public what the Packers are looking for in Rodgers, Maybe it's 2 first-round picks. I don't know.
It doesn't sound like the Jets even want to give up a first-round pick. They would love to hold on to that 13th pick. Now, the problem is they didn't have the draft capital, but then they made the move for Elijah Moore. So now they have picks 42 and 43, and I think they have like 77, I want to say. But theoretically, you would package 13, 42, and 43 together for Aaron Rodgers now that they made the Elijah Moore trade. But it sounds like they're trying to figure out something where they don't have to give up 13, which I don't see how they're going to get anything done that way.
Yeah, and that's weird because the Packers really don't want to trade Rodgers until June 1st because of salary cap implications, major salary cap implications. Saves them, $30 million on the cap, I think, if they wait till after June 1st. So, I mean, like if you're the Packers, you can't trade Aaron Rodgers until after June 1st. Now, and that makes the Jets, they can't wait till June 1st, right? It's like they got to either know before the draft or right after the draft.
And this
they
is
can't
why,
wait that long.
And I don't know what's going on here because Rodgers said he didn't want to hold anybody hostage. He wanted to make his decision. But the way he's framing it, and that's important here because he's framing it one way, Mark Murphy and Gutekunst for Green Bay is framing it another, and then the Jets are framing it a third way, right? And I don't know who to believe. I like to think that Rodgers is genuine with what he says and what he tells Pat McAfee, but from what he makes it sound like, it's like my end's done. It's all them. I'm not holding anybody hostage, but that's what's ending up. That's what end up going to happen here because the Jets need to know something before we get to the draft. They need to have this deal in place.
Well, as I'm sure Buccaneer fans are not fretting over all these issues for other quarterbacks, and I think it's probably one of the reasons that the Bucs didn't get in this quarterback roulette, so to speak, this year. I think they're just biding their time, and they're like, you know what? We'll see what happens with Baker Mayfield. We're not spending any money or making any big commitments. See how the quarterback market kind of shifts out. Look, if Kyle Trask turns out to be good, well, then we didn't waste a second-round pick, right? If Baker Mayfield turns out to be pretty good, then, we found a guy that maybe he's going to have a better second act and that we can win with. Interesting, Todd Bowles was talking yesterday. I don't know if you saw the quotes from this. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? Let's take a break. Come back on the other side. I want to get into the Todd Bowles quotes yesterday. The owners' meetings are starting today out in Phoenix, Arizona. There'll be some things on the docket that we can talk about. But Todd Bowles, I think it's a continuation of what we heard at the Combine. So we'll take a quick break. We're coming to you live from the Peter J. Mulry Foundation annual golf tournament here. We got Jimmy Buffett singing over here. We got drinks are flowing. All the people are coming in. So great atmosphere out here at Carrollwood. Be back in 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Golden Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. TrueBody offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on TrueBody and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're coming to you live from the Peter J. Mulry Foundation annual golf tournament here out at Carrollwood Country Club. It's a beautiful day for golf and raising some great money, so we will be doing that today. I'll be playing with Goose Gossage, and I'll report back to you tomorrow if I survive, so it'll be fun. All right, so I was just reading these quotes as Todd Bowles was on the NFL Network, and I think it was yesterday as they get set for the owners' meetings, and he was talking about replacing Brady or moving on without Brady. And he said, when you replace a player of that magnitude, first of all, you don't replace him. You lose aura. You lose the expectation of being great. So that doesn't mean you can't be great. You just have to do it more as a team. We did it as a team when he was there, but it was such a great player and a great person that you focus all on that, and now that is gone. The perception is that everything else is gone when really it isn't. We have a lot of good players on our team on both sides of the ball. We have some to fill. We have a lot of good football players on our team, and we just have to understand that and not go with the so-called outside narrative and do what we have to do to win ball games. I was talking about on Friday one ball team that I'm in some ways looking forward to life post Brady, and this being more of a team focus and less of a focus on one guy. And as we've talked about, there have been reports. I've talked to some players about this. Carmen Vitale has talked to some other players about this, and nobody wants to be on the record about it. But yes, players got tired of the Tom Brady drama. There's no question about that, and I think there's a certain level of excitement looking forward to doing this. And this is not a shot at Tom at all, because the drama follows Tom, right? And he's just such a superstar, megastar, that everything he does is going to be scrutinized. Every player is going to be asked about what happens to Tom. Everybody's going to be asked about playing with Tom. I mean, it was ridiculous at times how the questions in press conferences were just all about Tom Brady. And it got a little bananas, to be quite honest. And I think this is what Todd Bowles is talking about.
I mean, that's certainly one way to look at it. I mean, we had our disagreements Friday when you were talking about moving on and from the Tom Brady era and looking forward to this new one. But I think Todd Bowles, I mean, I know everybody's going to ram with these quotes about what he said about Brady, but I don't think he's lying. Like, of course you lose an aura when you don't have Tom Brady. We talked about it. I mean, enjoy it while it's here, because the bloom is off the rose on the Bucs. It is. They are the Bucs.
No
again. I mean, not to the extent that Cameron Jordan said, where they're going to go back to being the Yucks or whatever, but they're just the Bucs now. They're the Tom Brady-less Bucs, and it's a new venture. So I don't think Todd Bowles is wrong with what he said. And I also like what he said about the perception is that everything else is gone when it really isn't. And I think we've been talking about this as well. Everybody is like selling this team as if they're going to be like a bottom 5 team in the NFL, as if this roster is bottom 5 in the NFL. And we just don't see it that way. We just don't see it that way. We went through the players yesterday, and they are at least 10, 12 deep of players who have either been to a Pro Bowl or can play at Pro Bowl level. That does not sound like a team that's going to finish in the bottom 5 of the NFL this year, regardless of what the quarterback situation looks like. So I think Todd Bowles is right on the money here. I know the Brady stuff, that's what people are gonna write about, but the money quote there for me is the perception is that everything else is gone when it really isn't. And again, look around the NFC South. Look around the NFC South. You could still make the argument the Bucs have the best roster of players. Take quarterback out of the equation. You could still make the argument and maybe win that argument that the Bucs have the best roster of players in the NFC South.
I would agree with that. I mean, you look at just in terms of Pro Bowlers, and, we forget that Shaq Barrett's coming back. Now, we all can have our thoughts on whether he's going to be the old Shaq Barrett, but the bottom line is this guy is one of the premier edge rushers in the game when he's healthy, and he's expected to be healthy. I still think that their roster's as good as any. So it kind of comes back to the quarterback position. I thought this was interesting. In case you're thinking that Kyle Trask has a shot at this job. Listen to this quote from Todd Bowles. He said, "I liked Baker when he was coming out. We kind of hit it off when I was with the Jets. I went down to Oklahoma, and we had this vibe between us. It's not to say that he had the strongest arm and everything else, but he's a leader. He has great understanding of the football game. He knows where to go with the football. He has moxie. He's a guy's guy. The players love to be around him, and they will fight for him because he's a winner. He's won on a lot of different levels, so you like that about him coming in. I thought the way we were trying to run our offense this year, the style of offense we were trying to run, I think he's talking about with Canales, I believe. I thought he was a perfect fit for it. So between him and Kyle Trask, I have no doubt that one of them will come out and be successful." Now, I know we threw in Trask there at the end, but again, this is kind of like what we talked about. To me, Dave Canales, when he described the type of offense that he wants to run, it seems to fit Baker Mayfield a lot better than it fits Kyle Trask. Correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. And you look at the quote, and that's a good point that Todd Bowles brought up, and I hadn't heard anybody bring this up, the fact that the Jets had the 3rd overall pick that year, I want to say, in 2018. Yeah. They had the 3rd overall pick, and Baker went 1. So obviously, and nobody knew Baker was going number 1 until like the day before. So obviously, he did his homework on Baker Mayfield and got to know him. I never put that one together. So clearly, you could see that he's got a rapport there already with him. Just the way he went down the list there about his leadership and his moxie. He's a guy's guy. Like, he probably had a great smile on his face when he was talking about Baker Mayfield. I've never seen it. What's the best thing that Todd Bowles has said about Kyle Trask?
He works really hard. He's outside my window every morning, throwing footballs to nobody, which is great, which is exactly what you. Yeah,
but there's a lot more substance to the stuff that he says about Baker Mayfield. And it's always been that way. Even when Todd Bowles has talked about Blaine Gabbert, I've come away saying, it seems like he likes Blaine Gabbert more than he likes Kyle Trask. I've come away and got that feeling.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And again, we always say, look at what they do, not what they say. And they didn't really give Kyle Trask an opportunity in that Atlanta game to show what he's got. They've never really shown a lot of confidence in him, whether it be preseason or the regular season.
Well, I mean, they're in the rare spot where they're doing and saying everything, and it's in lockstep together. Because I know he's not here anymore, Byron Leftwich, but do you remember that press conference going into Atlanta week? And everybody wanted to ask about Kyle Trask, if he was going to get game time. Byron Leftwich, he just straight up got that question out of there and said, "We're talking about Kyle Trask right now on a game week." Like, wanted no part of it. Right. I know he's not here anymore, but he was still on this coaching staff. He was still part of the regime that drafted Kyle Trask. So again, the Bucs they have shown you already because of that Atlanta game, and they continue to say it as well, in my opinion. Maybe without saying it, hey, Kyle Trask is not going to be the starter. They're not going to go that far. But I think if you read the tea leaves here of some things, you'll come away, and I just don't see how – I'm sure they're going to make this a competition, but I don't really think there is one.
I would agree. That's the way it looks at this point, and it's up to Kyle Trask to change that, in OTAs and everything else. So we'll see how it goes. All right, one more quote from the NFL Network interview. He was asked about the firing of Byron Leftwich and assistants. He said, "quote We didn't score enough points. We didn't run it well, and at times we didn't throw it well. You want continuity from that standpoint, from a team standpoint. And what we were doing last year really caught up with us a little bit. It's not all coaches, it's players as well. It starts with me, and when you see something wrong, you have to try and fix it. I've been with those guys a long time, so it was a tough decision. But I felt the change had to be made, and I made the changes that way, and we were working on a player aspect of it to make it better." So, I think the direct question that I would ask is, why didn't you fire him in the middle of the season when this was going horribly wrong? And he wasn't really listening to what you wanted in an offensive coordinator. It was dysfunctional. And when it's dysfunctional, you got to try to save the season. It's freaking Tom Brady's last season. And you just didn't have, you knew you were eventually going to fire him. So why not fire him during the season and see if you could change things around? And to me, that's the measure of a head coach. And he failed. He failed in that.
Yeah, I think he probably should have fired him. But, I mean, if you look at some of the theories, he probably looked behind door number 2 and looked around and said, I don't see any upgrade. I don't see anybody that's going to come in here and call something different because they're all the Bruce Arians. I don't know. I mean, that's the only kind of reasoning explanation that I have for Todd Bowles for why he didn't fire Byron Leftwich, and the fact that they went out there in Germany and ended up having their best game of the season, arguably on offense to that point.
Yeah.
And at that point, there was just, okay, that was it. We have to ride with Byron Leftwich now. So, I mean, that's the only reasonable explanation I could get for why he was not fired the day after the Baltimore game.
Right. Yeah, and you could say, well, there was nobody to call plays. Clyde Christensen can call plays. And maybe, these other guys were ready to call plays because he hired a guy that's never called plays.
I mean, if you really wanted to go radical, you could have given the play calling reins to Thad Lewis, somebody who's younger, that's a little bit more connected to the modern game, I'd like to think. And it could have been a little test run for him as well. I know they kept him on this coaching staff. They love him. I mean, I think Bruce talks him up like he's a future offensive coordinator, head coach. So you could have gone that route, I guess, if you wanted to go younger and somebody more modern. I don't think the Clyde Christensen thing would have changed much at all, in my opinion.
Could have got Bruce Arians to call plays. It couldn't have been any worse. That's all I'm saying. But of course, Tommy wouldn't have liked that. So we have to.
Oh, here you go. You always come back
to Tommy wanted.
Here you go. You always come back to Tom. You've always come back to Tom.
It is what it is. Somebody Mario Christian says sounds like Trask has a 30% shot at starting. It might be less than that. It might be less than that.
I think it might be less. I'll put it at 10 right now. I'll put it at 10.
Yeah. Mary also says Lamar should have taken some lessons from Brady when it comes to money. I think a lot of quarterbacks could take some lessons, but of course, a lot of quarterbacks don't make the money off the field that Tom Brady does. So I get that. But one of the reasons Tom Brady makes the money that he does off the field is because he won Super Bowls, not taking up a majority of the salary cap. So it's kind of a chicken and the egg thing there as well. I think long term, you'd be better suited to not take top dollar as a quarterback and try and build around you and be able to get good players to come in. Of course, that doesn't always happen when you take less money. General managers screw that up anyway, so I get it. But I think, if I'm looking at the model, Brady is the model that I would be looking at if I was a quarterback in any way. So, all right, so we'll take another break. We'll come back on the other side. I want to get into the Lightning a little bit more. John Cooper, we'll hear from him after Saturday's loss to Boston. They've got Carolina coming up. They've had a chance to take 2 days off for the first time in a month. So what effect will that have on the Tampa Bay Lightning? We'll talk some bolts. When we come back, we're live out here at the Peter J. Mulry golf event for his foundation. We'll be back right after this.
Guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. So do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. Have you been injured in an accident, in an auto accident, truck accident, motorcycle accident, at work, or at a place of business? Well, call the Jeeves Law Group and get the personal attention that you deserve. I made the mistake many, many years ago with going with one of the bigger law firms, the national law firms. And let me tell you, getting a call back from those folks was next to impossible. Weeks and weeks would go by, never get a call back. That doesn't happen with the Jeeves Law Group. Attention is what they're all about. When you call the Jeeves Law Group, you will be part of the family. They will represent you in a vigorous and aggressive way against the insurance companies. These larger companies will promise bigger settlements, but it's the Jeeves Law Group that will get you the best results. If you're tired of dealing with these bigger law firms, check out the Jeeves Law Group. Go to JeevesLawGroup.com, tell them JP sent you, get a free consultation. It's the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves has been representing clients in the Tampa Bay area for over 25 years. Give them a call. It's a free call, 727-894-2929, 727-894-2929, or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. Hey guys, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that. They are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry supercenter. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Gold and Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Gold and Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're coming to you live from the Peter J. Mulry Foundation Golf Tournament here at Carrollwood Country Club. Going to have a beautiful day, and we're raise some money for his foundation, which provides mentors for Title I kids in Hillsborough County, and also literacy as an 11-book series that helps kids learn life skills. Really, really good stuff. So we love to come out here every year and support this great foundation and the great work that Peter's done. He was a long-time baseball coach in this area, won a couple of state titles with Tampa Catholic. So we appreciate him having us out here and being able to hang out with all these great folks that have been supporting him for a long, long time. All right, well, our Tampa Bay Lightning will go back on the road. They came home after the Boston game the other day, get some rest here, get a practice in. I believe they're practicing today before they head up to Carolina, and that'll be tomorrow night's affair up there in Raleigh, which the last they were there, I think they lost 6-0. The Boston game on Saturday was, I thought, a good sign. I thought the Lightning played pretty well. In a situation where this has been obviously a slog for them. We talked about this last week with Steven Stamkos and how absolutely exhausted mentally and physically that he looked after the road trip that they've been on. They've had 19 games in 33 days, which is unprecedented. That's the most they've ever played in the 33-game span by far in franchise history. Usually in that span for an NHL team, it's probably closer to 12 or 13 games. But the schedule has just been compact. So it's been a tough go for them. And maybe having a couple days off will help them. They get a practice in, maybe help a little bit more with their puck management, because it's going to be a hell of a test tomorrow night against Carolina. But I thought they played pretty well against Boston.
Yeah, I think they did play pretty well against Boston, like we said. And it's kind of interesting. You mentioned 19 and 33. And I believe in that 19, they've had a 5-game losing streak and a 4-game losing streak. I mean, when have we ever talked about this team having a 5-game losing streak or a 4-game losing streak, let alone having a 5 and a 4 within 1 month? Okay, just to paint the picture of where the Lightning have been right now. And, I look at the schedule ahead. Carolina, maybe they're not playing well, but the last time we were up there, we called it the worst game of the John Cooper era, where it just wasn't even close. And after that, they're going to get 2 teams that are right in the thick of a playoff race, and that's Washington and the Islanders, who are right there on the bubble. So I don't know, honestly, if they're going to be able to get the emotional level up for these games, because they're going to be playing desperate teams that are fighting for their postseason life to end this regular season. Every team they're playing is right there kind of on that bubble. So that's, to me, the challenge right now, is you want the Lightning to have some good momentum going in, but they're going to have to get up for some of these games against the Islanders, against the Capitals. And they got 2 against New York. They got 1 against the Capitals. They got 1 against Ottawa, teams that are right on the bubble. So to me, that's the challenge for the Lightning. Can you find some good momentum against these really desperate teams?
Yeah, losing 7-2 to Ottawa. It was, I know it was a 1-goal game in the third period, but still, that's a result that just teams that are going to win the Stanley Cup, that shouldn't happen. I mean, that's not happening to Boston. It's not happening to some of these other teams. So, yeah, I mean, there's no escaping the fact that, the standard here is obviously the highest possible standard. It's winning a Stanley Cup. We've been used to a certain level of play for a long time right now. And when they've had these extended lulls, and they've had these during the last 3 years, but not to this level. Not 2 of them. I don't even think they've had 2 of them in the same season. A 5-game loser and a 4-game loser. No, I don't think they've even had. I don't think they've had that turn in terms of just like 3 games.
They've gone. I was going to say they've gone seasons where they didn't have 1 3-game losing streak, and if they lost 2 in a row, it might have happened like 2 or 3 times a season. Like that was it. Yeah. This is so unprecedented in the Cooper era.
Yeah. Well, listen, we're hoping that this is just an energy thing, that this is just a, just maybe it's a mental and physical energy thing, and they can flip that switch. But it's not like they're going to get a huge break as they head to the playoffs. And it's not like, John Cooper can rest a ton of guys going in. Here and there, you might get a guy off his feet for a couple of days. Maybe that'll make a difference. We might see that, but they still got to make the playoffs, and I think they will. But these are extended losing streaks, and it's not the way you want to be playing hockey going into this season.
I will say this: it better happen now with just 9 games left or 8 games, whatever it is, because the gap between the Lightning and that last spot now, it's down to 8 points. That's all it is. So you just need to find something here in these final 8 games at this point just to get you in there. You face Toronto and move on. I mean, this would be a lot different if we were in game 50 right now and they were going through one of these extended slumps and you were only 8 points up, then you'd have some concern. But the fact that we're at the end here, just find something. Just find something to where that does not shrink anymore.
All right, do we have the John Cooper from Saturday?
Yep.
All right, let's cue that up and let's hear what he had to say after the Boston game.
John, did you consider this game a step in the right direction for your group?
Yeah, I did.
Belmar talked about the passion. Did you feel that you really noticed that tonight, whereas you haven't noticed it perhaps as much as some other games recently?
Yeah, I'd say that's a fair assessment.
How important is it to establish that physicality with a team like Boston at this stage of the season?
Well, I don't care about Boston. I care about us. So
for your team?
Yeah, it was good for us. It's identity for us.
Mm-hmm. Did you expect that physicality from the start?
I did.
There's your John Cooper from Saturday.
Is that it? That's all
you got. That's all you got from John Cooper on Saturday.
Yeah, I wanted to play that because it was definitely salty Cooper. I think that was him, kind of saying, you know what, I like the fight, I like the way we played, but I'm not sitting here going to put platitudes on my own team who lost another game. It's not good enough. I think he felt like they showed some grit, and you got to love Patty Maroon right off the jump. Here we go. But I also think he knows that there are, some major issues with this team, and he's got to figure it out. He's got to. I don't want to say major issues. I think structurally, would they like to be a little bit more certain of their D pairs? Absolutely. Does their puck management need to be cleaned up? Yeah, but that's part of, I think, the mental and physical drain. It just takes such a level of focus to play this game with that edge that you have to be the best. And it's just not there right now. And nothing you can manufacture in the regular season is going to help these guys get ready. It's going to be the playoffs. And that's it. You can't, John Cooper can't manufacture it. He can't tell these guys to go out and play like it's a playoff game. Hey, we got to get it going. Where the playoffs are on the doorstep. No, these guys can read a schedule. They know when the playoffs are. And I don't think we're going to see work difference until the
Probably. I just think he's probably tired of the whole thing about, okay, well, you lost this game, but you showed fight. Like, you showed passion. Like, I think he's tired of having to keep going down that route.
Right.
To try to spin it in a positive direction because they're just losing games. At the end of the day, they're losing games. And I think as a coach, that's probably all he's really looking at. Like, man, we just lost again. It's a team that we can't stand. We know we're going to have to see this. We're going to have to go through this team if we want to get to our goal this year, and we haven't shown that we've been able to beat them. I feel like that's probably why Cooper was probably like that. I think he's reached his end of trying to spin this positively because they're continuing just to lose games.
I completely agree with you, and I hope that talking is just useless at this point. That's what that interview was all about. It's like the guys know what they have to do. It was like the practice the other day. I think he basically threw the pucks out there and said, "Hey, go do it," and the coaches left. And I think that was, we've seen Cooper go to a couple of different tactics here. That was one, and the other one was benching his number one line. I think he's pulling out all the stops right now, and I think he knows that it's not going to be the coaching staff. It's not going to be, some, great X's and O's thing that he drew that going to make the difference here. The guys got to figure it out themselves. It's up to them. It's not up to the coaches. And I think that was a very demonstrative sign of that message, right? That's it's up to you guys. The coaches can't help you. You guys got to go do this. You know what to do.
And I think
this group's been together a long time. So
yeah, and also because he's pulled out all these stops, like you said. I think that's probably why I probably land, and it's the fatigue thing, because he's telling them, like, hey, you got to fix this. You got to fix this. And I think the players are probably going like, hey, you can bench us in the third period. You could tell us to go out here with a bunch of pucks and just play and everything. But in the end, we're just tired. We're just fatigued.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where I'm landing with this whole thing because they haven't responded to any of these tactics. That's the difference. They haven't responded. So the only thing I can go to naturally is, okay, they're just fatigued.
Yep, I think that's where we're at. Hey, I wanted to get in a couple notes about the Rays as well. It looks like they're going to go with Josh Fleming as their fifth starter, while Glass now is down. Is that right?
Oh, it's right, yeah.
Well, I mean, if you look at the schedule early on, they're probably not going to need him a lot as a fifth starter too, because in April and May, so it's not like there's going to be a lot. I mean, clearly, but if you look around the league, I know we're not used to having a guy with a high 4 ERA be slated as a starter for the Rays, but if you look around the league, that's where number 5 starters are mostly, right? So I think the Rays will be able to figure that part out. Listen, they've got a manageable schedule early on. I want to see these hitters come out and start putting runs on the board from the very beginning. Get off to a hot start. Continue what you've been doing in spring break or spring training, and that to me is going to be just part of that early season momentum. That's what I want to see, and if they can do that, the pitching's going to be there. And the defense I think is going to be better as well.
The Fleming thing, I don't know how much they're going to need him. He's there because Yanni Trinos has been rough this spring, and my goodness, Luis Patino, another. I mean, did you hear about or see his last outing? I mean, it was horrendous. His ERA is 12 for spring training in 6 appearances, Luis Patino. I mean, I don't know if this guy is going to find it. I really don't. It sounds like he's going to open up the season in AAA. That's what's giving Josh Fleming life on the Major League roster, honestly, is Luis Patino.
Yeah, and he is not what we wanted to get for Blake Snell. I think we can all agree on that.
No. So Frankie Mejia, I need you to be an all-star catcher or something, please.
Frankie Mejia is going to have to be Johnny Bench.
I need you to be.
Which I don't think is happening. No offense, Mr. Mejia, but I don't think that's quite happening.
He can be Deanna Navarro, and it'll work out for me. That's fine. He could be like Navarro. There you go.
I don't think he's ever making an all-star game. Nice little player, but that trade. Do we get anything in that trade that is going to be worth anything for a Cy Young Award winner?
And then did they trade Xavier Edwards, right? They flipped him.
They did, yeah. They flipped him.
Oh,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, well, that's we always listen. The Braves have done a great job in the front office. There's no question about that. But that did not work out. All right, we're getting ready to go here, partners. So I'm going to go saddle up with Goose Gosha, so this will be fun. I'll be taking some thoughts from my. Hey guys, JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. There is no better place to shop for jewelry than the Gold and Diamond Source. We know that they are the family jewelers, and they will treat you like family. It's always a fun experience. Just head on over there. You will not find a better selection anywhere in the world. It's a jewelry super center. They've got engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, pendants, chains, and thousands of diamonds to choose from. They're all right there. They don't have to ship anything in. They have jewelry for every price range as well. Guys, if you're looking for some of those baller watches, they have a great selection. They have new and used. You can get some great collectibles there as well. And if you're looking for some more affordable gold and diamond jewelry, you have to check out the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Emily created this collection for people who want to wear and stack elaborate jewelry but don't want to pay the big ticket prices. You got to check this stuff out. The Golden Diamond Source has plenty of options to accommodate any budget, interest-free financing for up to 5 years, and a layaway program, 20% down and only 6 monthly payments. And this month only, get up to 15% off the March birthstone, which is aquamarine. Like we always say, keep it local, folks. The Golden Diamond Source, Julie and Steve Weintraub, such great philanthropic benefactors. So let's keep it all local here when we have the opportunity, right? It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Insurance coverage can be confusing and expensive. I mean, where do you start? Which companies can you count on to pay out fast and fair? Well, call the great folks at Italiano Insurance. It's a family-owned business. Jeff and Nat Italiano are carrying on the 60-year-plus tradition of giving amazing customer service and giving back to the community through their annual backpack drive for needy students and their support of the local pediatric cancer patients. But it's the customer service that sets them apart. They can shop all your insurance needs and save you big-time money. Don't hop on the internet and waste time looking at some bogus reviews. Talk to knowledgeable agents and not some voice-generated robot. These are confusing times for homeowners, and Italiano's team of experienced professionals can provide the right coverage for every situation: home, auto, business, life. It's Italiano for all the pieces of your life. Call 813-877-7799 or go to italianoinsurance.com. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Well, Fitz the mortgage guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the mortgage guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man, Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
Pure Sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. Just a couple minutes here on Monday's show as JP is off to go play golf with Goose Gossage. I'm sure that's going to be a great time for him. And he'll have a full report of that. Such a great event they do out there at Carrollwood every single year. So I'll take us home here. We just got a few minutes left before we sign off. And again, apologies for so many of the technical delays today. Getting JP set up out there is no easy task. So we thank you for your patience, and we'll be back in studio tomorrow and for the rest of the week, as always. So we should be all smooth operations moving forward. But I was going to just piggyback off that Rays conversation we did have, because obviously it's opening week. It's opening week, and opening day is on Thursday. I'm crazy excited for it. I'm going to be there. JP will not be there. He does not enjoy going to Rays games, as you know, but I'm going to have a great time. And, you know, there's a couple notes out there. We were just talking about Fleming getting out there, but Wander Franco, and this is of great, I don't know if I'll use the word concern right now, but certainly a quad injury right before the season begins is not ideal. He's missed a couple games here in spring training, but it sounds like today, Topkin reporting that they got a favorable MRI, and they've got 3 days to treat this. They haven't ruled him out for spring for the opening day there on Thursday, but I think though it's something to monitor right now with Wander Franco, because last year was really a lost season, I thought, for him because of the injury, which just robbed him of so much time and really seeing his ability come through. I mean, last year people were talking about Wander Franco as an MVP candidate, and we got anything but that. And when he was out there, you know, he started off really, really hot, and then he got the injury. I just don't think he could ever recover. So I don't want to say he's got the injury bug kind of title on him already, but it's just something to keep, just something to monitor with. That's it. Because I think if the Rays, wherever they're going to go this year, I think it's very dependent on what Wander Franco does, because we've put him next to the Juan Sotos of the world, and this is as a prospect coming up. We've put him next to the Juan Sotos. We've put him next to the Ronald Acuñas. We put him next to the Vlad Guerreros with the hype machine that's been here. And we've seen it in spurts. We've seen it in spurts over 2 seasons. So I think now it's time we need to see it for a full season, and the Rays need it. And when I say being a star, Wander Franco has got it. We're going to find out this year, is he the guy that's going to hit 10 to 15 home runs and hit 300 and have, 180, 90 hits or whatever? Is he going to be that kind of guy? Or is he going to be the guy that you can plug into the lineup at the top and he's going to hit 25, 30, even more home runs? What's he going to be? Because we know he's a throwback player. He loves the contact. He hits it the other way. I love all those qualities. But I think ideally the Rays would love for him to get more into the power, to establish more of that power. I think that's going to come, hopefully, for the Rays and Wander Franco. But we'll see. As there and other things coming out too from Topkin, Josh Lowe, Luke Raley, Kevin Kelly, and Calvin Fauché have all got the last 4 spots. So Luke Raley and Josh Lowe, those are 2 other guys. They didn't get those big boppers. They're going to be relying on them. They've had fantastic springs. So I don't know. Let's be open to it. I mean, realistically, the only deadline here is the actual trade deadline when we get to July. So we'll see what happens. Also, a few minor notes. Zach Eflin's going to start game 2 on Saturday. McClanahan getting game 1, obviously, and Jeffrey Springs is going to get that 3rd spot ahead of Drew Rasmussen. So it's going to be a good time. I might even go to 2 games on this opening weekend. I know that we've kind of been hard on the Rays, maybe because they didn't do much this offseason for whatever reasons, but once the season starts, I get very into it. I'm going to watch mostly every game there on Bally's. It's going to be hopefully a great season for the Rays. And I'll tell you what, I think they're going to get to 95 wins this year. I'm feeling a 95-win season right now. I am. So with that, we'll be back tomorrow. Like I said, JP's going to be back in studio. We'll be back with smooth transitions and good connection and all those great things that you expect. So have a great day, everybody, and we will see you tomorrow.